So, John, thank you for coming to the studio. Always a pleasure. A lot of conversation around illegal immigration, but of course, you've been focused, rightly so, for a long time on the thorny topic of legal migration, which, of course, is a far greater topic and far costlier to the taxpayer.
Well, indeed. I mean, over 700,000 compared with 30,000 of illegals. All invited in, all on this cheap labour model, and I'm very much against it. I think we should say that we want higher wages, higher productivity in the United Kingdom. We need to offer training and support and better wages to all the people who are already here, who are of working age, who are not working. The government has some ideas on that. And I think it's quite wrong to let employers bring people in on discount wages to depress the wage level that we see here. And they say it's cheap labour, but it isn't cheap for the taxpayer. And this is the big point I've been making in the debate. The EU tried to work out how much a migrant would cost an EU country in terms of the capital cost of providing a flat and the capital cost of school places and health provision, and then the early years public service costs. They said €250,000 in 2016. I've been trying to get the government to either stack up my £250,000 or come up with their own figure. But when you realise it's that amount of money, no wonder we're very short on public spending. And I see it in my own area where we've had to put in 3 new primary schools to cope with all the extra people coming to our part of the world. There has to be some limit on the numbers.
Chris?
Why has your government allowed it to happen? Tens of thousands was a target back in 2010, and now it's, as you say, it's 700,000 plus legally arriving here net.
Well, they shouldn't, and I'm very pleased the Prime Minister now said he wants to reverse that, and he's come up with proposals to take 300,000 off. But when you're starting from 700, that isn't enough.
No.
Because we're still nowhere near where we were in 2019. And I think the reason it happened, as you know, Chris, is that everybody had a good case. You know, we need some extra care workers, we need some extra farm workers, we need some extra technology workers. But they shouldn't bring in so many. And if these are temporary shortages, you solve the shortage. They did a very good job on drivers. We were very short of drivers because of the big move to online deliveries over COVID and all the rest of it. And they went off and they put in the extra training places. They got the extra licenses granted. They put the wages up. And a lot of that shortage went away. That's what they should be doing in the care sector. That's what they should be doing in the farm sector. Higher productivity, higher wages, and spend the public money on helping people do the investment in Britain. Don't spend so much public money on trying to backfill the need for all these extra provisions.
But isn't the problem now the care sector, agriculture, construction, hospitality, and many other sectors, they're addicted to cheap labour. They've had a tap of it for so long. Even The Guardian on today's front page is saying it's slave labour to get care workers and 80% of wages. Of course it is. You've got the Guardian agreeing with people like yourselves that this is wrong, but nobody seems to have an idea how to fix it. The government could just switch off those visa numbers overnight, though, couldn't you?
Well, of course they could, and I'm urging them to do something more than that. I think there is huge public support from Labour as well as Conservative voters for the idea of a higher wage, higher productivity model. Being paid more for doing more because you've got technology and support and better systems and so forth. And we could make huge breakthroughs. Indeed, in the public services, we've had a shocking 7.5% productivity collapse, according to the official figures, since 2019. And we need that back. That's 30 billion or more extra payments to achieve the same amount. We can't go on like that. So they must put all their efforts, the government, into productivity and into supporting it with investment. And then they'll get a lot of savings because they won't need so many new school places and so many extra subsidised homes to accept in 700,000. I mean, the way I put it is that if you're going to carry on at 700,000, you need to build 3 cities the size of Southampton every year. And you don't just have to build the flats, you've got to build the shops and the utilities,
the schools, the roads,
and everything.